The movie opens with a commercial from the German biotech company Aeon, introducing their unique time transfer program. This initiative allows people to exchange years of their lives for generous compensation, facilitating life-changing opportunities while restoring youth to the recipient. The commercial reassures viewers about the safety of the procedure, emphasizing its routine nature at Aeon clinics, where over 200,000 donors have already benefited. Prospective donors are encouraged to undergo a DNA test promptly to match with suitable recipients. Following the advertisement, we meet Max Thoma, a time transfer manager, engaging in discussions with a migrant family about the program's advantages. Max proposes that their 18-year-old son relinquish 15 years of his life in exchange for 700,000 euros. Despite the boy's initial confusion and reluctance, Max appeals to his parents, highlighting the risks of deportation without financial stability. He presents the opportunity for citizenship and entrepreneurial ventures if the boy sells his time. Max shares his own experience of sacrificing 5 years of his life for education, eventually persuading the hesitant boy to participate in the program. After successfully sealing the deal, Max returns to the Aeon campus in Berlin, where protesters outside demand an end to the perceived injustice of the time transfer program, which they view as a means for the wealthy to exploit the poor. Meanwhile, inside the Aeon campus, an event is in full swing, with Max being honored as Employee of the Year for bringing the company 276 years of life through his recruitment efforts. Almost all the donors he enlisted are eager to contribute their time again. On stage, the CEO of Aeon, Sophie Tyson, champion of the time transfer ideology, addresses the audience. She argues that their program empowers exceptional individuals like scientists and musicians to extend their contributions and achieve even greater milestones. Tyson announces a groundbreaking initiative. All current and future Nobel laureates will be added to the recipient database. Furthermore, she reveals that 15 scientists have already received transferred time and are recuperating at the Aeon Chronic Clinic. The scene transitions to the Chronic Clinic, where elderly scientists are adapting to their rejuvenated bodies. One patient shares her joy with the doctor, reveling in her newfound ability to walk again. However, tension escalates abruptly when a nurse lurking behind one of the patients suddenly pulls out a gun. The man exits the room and proceeds to shoot the remaining 14 patients, sparing the medical staff and relatives of the time recipients. As events unfold, it's revealed that the man is a member of the organization Atom, which vehemently opposes Aeon's activities due to the perceived violation of equality and the commodification of human life. In a stern message directed at Aeon's leadership, the head of the Atom Group, Lilith, warns of dire consequences for those involved in extracting time from others' lives. In response to the threat, Aeon's security service and employees strategize on how to prevent future attacks. The narrative shifts to the opulent apartment of Max and his wife Elena, purchased on credit. Despite their current status, the couple harbors dreams of owning a serene lakeside cottage where they can raise their future children. They celebrate Max's success with a joyous dinner and intimate moments together. The following day, they visit Elena's parents, where her father expresses disdain for Aeon's practices. Max defends the program, citing improved lives for donors, though admitting ethical complexities. He emphasizes his commitment to fair compensation and providing for his family, distinguishing himself from other managers. As they return home, the couple is horrified to find their apartment engulfed in flames. Despite initially reassuring themselves that insurance would cover their losses, Max and Elena are shocked to learn from their lawyer that the fire wasn't caused by a short circuit, but by an open flame from a candle, rendering it uninsured and leaving them uncompensated. Compounding their woes, the bank demands full repayment of the €2.5 million loan, an amount they cannot afford. With no alternative, Elena faces the daunting prospect of surrendering approximately 40 years of her life. Max, bewildered by the necessity of such a drastic measure, discovers that Elena had pledged years of her life as collateral when she took out the loan, a fact she hadn't anticipated needing to fulfill. Despite his willingness to donate his own time, Max finds no suitable recipient in the Aeon database, and the individual he previously aided has passed away. The couple, reeling from these revelations, exits their lawyer's office only to be confronted by police detaining Elena, despite her never considering fleeing. Determined to find a solution, Max appeals to Sophie Tyson at the Aeon campus, requesting a €2.5 million loan with a promise to repay it. Tyson agrees to consider his request. Weeks pass with no response from Tyson, prompting Max and his lawyer to escalate their efforts. They attempt to visit Elena at the Aeon clinic, where she's been forcibly placed after her arrest, only to be informed that visitations are restricted until after the forced time transfer procedure. Undeterred, Max infiltrates the facility in search of his wife, but encounters resistance from Aeon security personnel. Meanwhile, Elena receives the distressing news that a court order mandates the immediate extraction of 38 years of her life, with the transferred time serving as repayment to their creditors. Following the harrowing procedure, Max and Elena return to their new rented apartment in a troubled neighborhood. Over the ensuing days, Elena visibly withers, losing strength and youth, her vitality draining away as wrinkles deepen and her hair turns gray before Max's anguished gaze. In a surprising turn, Max discovers that Sophie Tyson has unilaterally promoted him to senior manager, a move that escalates his monthly salary but falls short of his earnest plea to the director. Determined to confront Sophie once more, Max is taken aback to find her significantly rejuvenated. In a chilling realization, he understands that Sophie Tyson has become the recipient of Elena's time. Returning home, Max earnestly assures his aged wife of his enduring love. However, Elena, besieged by doubt and despair, interprets his words as mere pity or guilt, demanding solitude. As Max reluctantly withdraws, Elena's health deteriorates precipitously. Subsequently hospitalized, Elena receives devastating news of a miscarriage, shattering Max's dreams of a family and leaving him grief-stricken. With unwavering resolve, Max resolves to restore Elena's youth, recognizing that the process is reversible and aware of the recipient of her time. He escorts Elena to her parents, pledging to exhaust every avenue to reclaim her lost vitality and rebuild their shattered hopes for the future. Max returns to his troubled neighborhood and notices a seemingly youthful girl engaged in illicit activities like smoking and selling contraband substances. Recognizing the signs of a potential recipient of a time transfer, albeit not through Aeon, Max demands crucial contacts from her. Under the cover of night, Max contacts specialists from an illicit Lithuanian clinic, providing an advance payment of 30,000 euros and diligently following their instructions. He procures weapons and forged documents for both himself and Elena, determined to confront Sophie Tyson. His pursuit leads him to a local cemetery, where he encounters the girl beside Lucy Tyson's grave, Sophie's deceased daughter. Mistakenly believing the girl to be Sophie, transformed by the time transfer procedure, Max launches an attack. Despite her attempts to flee and call for help, Max's resolve proves unyielding as he subdues her. Before departing, Max, in an attempt to obscure his trail, leaves a symbol of the Atom Group on Lucy Tyson's grave. He then proceeds to the municipal clinic where Elena practices as a doctor. There, he informs her of his ability to assist. Although Elena urges him to accept the circumstances, she reluctantly agrees to accompany her husband. Taking Elena to an abandoned auto repair shop, Max reveals Sophie Tyson, now rejuvenated. Elena, taken aback, refuses to participate in Max's plan to flee the country. Despite her objections, Max remains resolute in his quest for justice. Meanwhile, Sophie's trusted agent, Kaya, and Aeon security personnel, led by Victor, arrive at the grave site. They harbor suspicions of Max's involvement in the girl's disappearance and eventually trace him to the auto repair shop, only to find it deserted. Later, Victor discloses to Kaya that Max initially met Elena as her time transfer manager. Their relationship evolved into marriage, but Max, having suffered significant losses, appears determined to pursue his agenda at any cost. Victor disapproves of Sophie Tyson's policies and understands the feelings of Max and Elena, but when Kaya asks why he works there, he answers that money dictates everything. Kaya confesses that she is actually 64 years old and that she started working as Sophie's bodyguard 30 years ago and owes everything to her. Simultaneously, as Max and Elena, accompanied by the abducted girl, depart Germany, they soon find themselves pursued by the Aeon security service. Upon their arrival at the transit port in Lithuania, an announcement for document checks for all passengers raises their awareness of being pursued. Realizing their predicament, they spot a family with children and devise a plan. Max coerces the head of the family to drive his car. The police stop them due to the driver's visible nervousness, prompting suspicions. However, they overlook the fugitives concealed in the trunk. Once within Lithuanian territory, Max releases the terrified family after sabotaging their phones and puncturing their tires. He then contacts the leadership of the underground clinic, awaiting further directives and a call from Dr. Berg, signaling their next steps within a 6-hour time frame. Later, they halt, allowing the girl to exit the car. She questions their intentions and asserts that her mother, Sophie Tyson, will cover any expenses. Initially taken aback by her claim, Max refuses to concede his error, maintaining his belief that the girl is indeed a younger Sophie. The girl, insisting on her identity as Marie and as Sophie's daughter, encounters Max's skepticism. Upon searching the internet, Max only finds information about her older sister Lucy, who succumbed to progeria, a rare genetic condition. Max forcefully pushes the girl back into the car, prompting Elena to implore her husband to devise a method to authenticate Marie's identity. She also suggests seeking refuge where they can all recuperate after the arduous journey. They soon stumble upon an abandoned hotel and opt to halt there for the night. Marie opens up, expressing her opposition to being treated as a mere commodity and her repeated attempts to dissuade her mother from persisting in this program. Despite Max's skepticism, Elena staunchly supports Marie. Max, frustrated by his wife's stance, defends his actions, emphasizing his efforts for her sake. He asserts that even if Marie isn't Sophie, they can still extend her protection, a notion that unsettles Elena. Later, Max's demeanor softens slightly towards Marie, granting her some freedom by untying her hands and permitting her to shower. As he waits, Marie reveals the genesis of her mother's research into cellular aging, spurred by Lucy's illness. Despite the breakthrough, Lucy's life couldn't be saved due to the inability to find a suitable donor in time. Max's vigilance wanes gradually, providing Marie with an opportunity to orchestrate her escape. Marie manages to escape the hotel and tries to call Kaya, but soon finds herself trapped in a swamp, prompting her to call out for help, even from her captors. Elena, hearing her cries, rushes to her aid and brings her back to safety. While Marie showers, Elena notices the absence of the characteristic scar from the time transfer procedure on her body. Elena shares her discovery with Max, who dismisses the significance of the missing scar, suggesting that Marie's skin could have regenerated post-procedure. He reassures Elena that their actions are justifiable and promises her a fulfilling future together. They then share a moment of intimacy. Meanwhile, the Aeon security service pinpoints their location and calls for reinforcements to apprehend Max, Elena, and free Marie. In the dead of night, armed individuals storm into their hotel room, stunning Max and Elena, who presume them to be Aeon operatives. However, they turn out to be activists from Atom. Led by Lilith, the Atom group accuses Max and Elena of complicity in Sophie Tyson's urgent need for time and deliberate manipulation of Elena as a suitable donor. Lilith reveals that the fire in their house was no accident. Max's appointment as Elena's manager was calculated to coerce her into relinquishing years of her life. Moreover, Lilith accuses the couple of intending to selfishly take years from the innocent Marie. She hands Elena a gun, suggesting that since Elena plans to take 40 years from Marie, she should prioritize her own life. However, Elena is unable to bring herself to harm Marie. Lilith reflects on society's reluctance to directly harm others, noting how people readily accept such actions when carried out by individuals in authority, especially those adorned in white coats. Meanwhile, Dr. Berg establishes contact with Max, providing coordinates to the clinic. However, the Atom group has no intentions of releasing them, causing the arrangement to restore time to Elena to collapse. The group reveals that Sophie Tyson will imminently arrive, sparking Max's suspicion that they serve as bait to lure Sophie, whom Atom seeks to neutralize. Lilith assures Max that their aim isn't Sophie's demise but her removal, contingent on Max's cooperation. As the Aeon security service and the capture team converge on the location, Lilith urges Max toward the special forces, where he demands to communicate solely with Sophie, confirming Marie Tyson's survival. Sophie, appearing even younger, offers an additional $10 million for Elena's years, on condition that Max releases Marie. Max, however, insists on exchanging Marie's freedom for 40 years of Elena's life. Sophie insists on verifying Marie's status, prompting Max, presumably under Atom's directive, to lure her inside. Kaya asserts Sophie's refusal to enter without her, suggesting contacting Marie by phone, an option Max dismisses. Sophie reluctantly accedes to Max's terms to secure Marie's release. However, Kaya's suspicion rattles Max when she questions his foreknowledge of Sophie's presence, rendering him speechless. Sensing a trap, Kaya and Victor turn their weapons towards him. It's then revealed that Victor, operating under the alias Judas, has been colluding with Atom all along. Under Lilith's command, he redirects his aim from Max to Sophie. Despite Kaya's attempts to intervene, she fails to prevent Sophie from sustaining a grave injury. Amidst the chaos, Kaya takes down Victor but faces aggression from Atom members who open fire. In the ensuing firefight between Aeon and Atom, Lilith perishes, while Max successfully reaches his wife and Marie. As they locate a vehicle to flee, Marie brandishes a gun she found, pointing it at Elena and attempting to shoot, only to discover it's unloaded. Elena's demeanor towards Marie undergoes a stark shift as she unleashes her anger, prompting Max to intervene. Along their journey, Max realizes Elena's destination is an illicit clinic, despite their newfound belief in Marie's veracity. He implores Elena to reconsider undergoing the time transplant, cautioning against the moral implications. However, Elena remains resolute, driven by her determination to reclaim lost time. Max, troubled by their descent into actions reminiscent of Aeon's operatives, insists on taking Marie to the hospital instead. Elena, wielding a knife, compels her husband out of the car. Upon arriving at the clinic, Elena is horrified to witness her colleagues coercing kidnapped refugees for forced time transfers. Despite the gruesome scene, her resolve remains unshaken. After successfully reclaiming the necessary years of life from Marie, Elena undergoes the procedure and Marie is released. On the road, Marie hitches a ride with a truck driver who eventually reunites her with Sophie. Sophie, having worn a bulletproof vest during the shootout, emerges unscathed. She tasks Kaya with locating Max and Elena, but Kaya, unexpectedly, announces her resignation, severing ties with Sophie. Mari, now older than her mother, seeks to reclaim her youth from Sophie, as they are a genetic match. However, Sophie refuses, citing the need for time to continue her research, promising to find an alternative donor for Marie. Several months later, a rejuvenated and content Elena anticipates a child from another man, while Max assumes leadership of Atom, harboring aspirations to dismantle Aeon and eradicate all underground time transfer clinics. What would you do in Elena's place? Would you sacrifice your happiness for the life of an innocent person, or would you reclaim your rightful years at any cost? Share your thoughts in the comments below, hit the like button, and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next videos.